I'm Norman Boone.
I'm Bert Boone.
And this is
Twin Power MMA.
Yeah.
MMA?
Yeah, baby.
Great, eh? Great, eh?
First things first, little rest in peace. Josh Saman, a warrior in and out of the cage. Another good man gone too soon. Praying for you and your family, brother.
A quick moment of silence for Josh Saman, somebody that had been through a lot of struggles in his life, but showed what real warriors are made out of, inside and outside of the cage. Amen.
All right, on to UFC
204.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
The Horseman 4.
Telepathy, the twin thing? Yep.
4.
Okay, first fight to look at, Skyscraper.
Stefan Struve. He is tall.
Seriously tall. And he's fought some seriously stiff competition.
Woo! He has fought and beat some of the best fighters in MMA history, including Big Nog. I mean, he's gotten knocked out by a few as well.
He has.
But he's stepping in there against Daniel Olamensenkik.
He's beat the champ.
He has beat Stipe Miocic. TKO,
Wow.
TKO.
Not many can say that. So, let's see what he can do against a young is it a young up-and-comer? I don't know much about this guy.
I know that he's on a winning streak. He hasn't fought too many.
Earned his shot,
competition.
probably, yeah.
I can't recognize any of his competition, but I'll tell you what. Anytime you fight in the UFC, you're fighting a good fighter. You know, with more than 2 wins, I think it's at least 3 wins in a row. Yep. He's definitely earned a shot at a bigger name opponent, and I think it's time for Struve to get back on track.
Get in the mix.
After his heart condition, after a few kind of bumps in the road for Struve, I think this will be a good fight against a solid guy to prove that he's back.
I think he's got to win, and I don't see why not. Let's see some of those big knees, some of those hands. You even mentioned he's got some good.
Oh, he can still submit people. Yeah. He's obviously long-limbed, but I think it's going to be Stefan's fight to win. If Daniel can kind of step up and show that.
You never know, because we've seen the glass jaw a little bit with Stefan. You got
to touch it to get to him, but again, yeah, right. I think he's shown. Some mental flaws in his game, but I think again, Struve shouldn't be much mental issues for this fight.
I'm looking forward to him.
It'll be nice. It'll be nice to see him back in the cage.
Nice to root for that guy.
Moving on, we got what I think could be the sleeper fight of the night. Maybe not even a sleeper, with a guy like Jimmy Manawa against OSP.
Yeah, baby.
That's going to be like a good old JR always says, maybe a good old slobber knocker.
Those guys can throw leather. Both of them do. And they're both pretty tough. Both have beaten and been in there with some of the best. And they've lost to the top names, which is,
It's understandable when you're talking about guys like Rumble Johnson and John Jones. So, Manawa getting starched by Rumble. Who hasn't gotten starched by Rumble?
Yeah.
And also OSP just being willing to fight John Jones, let alone stand in there for 5 rounds against John Jones.
Amazing.
They both have fought some really high-level competition. This should be a good stepping stone for either one of these fighters. Both needed a good opponent like one another, I think, to boost them up to be ready to fight another big-name guy.
Yeah, I think if it's going to go to the ground, which I really hope it doesn't, because I want to see these guys throw it down, I think it's OSP taking Jimmy down. But, will he go that route? What do you think?
Great Britain's finest, Jimmy Manawa. I think that Manawa's going to have a little bit of an edge when it comes to power, but I think OSP is definitely a little more well-rounded. So, like you said, hopefully it doesn't turn into a sleeper. Sometimes when you get two guys like that, like you said, one of them works a takedown the whole fight. So I think these guys are hungry. I think it's going to be a brawl, and I think if I had to pick early rounds, I think it's Manawa by knockout. If he's not able to knock him out in the first couple rounds, I see OSP maybe winning by decision.
I'm kind of with you. I don't think he's going to be able to knock out OSP. I think that guy's tough as nails. If you've been branded, you can handle pain. That guy can handle pain. I say, just out of well, it's October, and he's scary. That guy is scary. Scare factor, I'm going OSP. He scares the crap out of me. So I say OSP. Yeah, should be a good one. Next fight it's our boy. Our fellow Brasileiro, Vitor, the Phenom Belfort. One-time champion, one-time knockout machine. He knocked out everybody in front of him. He's getting older. No more TRT. And he's fighting a stud.
Oh, Gegard Mousasi, a guy that I have been a fan of his, watching him in Dream, watching him in Strikeforce. You know, the guy showed that. I mean, the guy walks into a fight against one of the top fighters in the world and just looks like he's going out to brunch. I mean, the guy is so relaxed. The guy is so composed. I think he's going to be ready for Vitor.
One of those mimosas, you know what I'm saying?
Vitor, I mean, you know, you're going to weather the early storm of Vitor. I think he's very predictable, unfortunately, at this point. But the thing is, can you stop the swarm? If Vitor hurts him and he smells blood, Vitor's going to knock him out just like he has everybody.
He can. But is Gegard just going to take the easy way and put him on his back? I mean, we've seen him look just utterly terrible. Fighting from his back. I mean, just getting smashed on. And he's supposedly a black belt. And
he definitely is a black belt, but let's be real. I've seen him. He tapped out Rumble Johnson.
Well, he just gets mounted and gets pummeled when
he
he's on
almost
his back.
got John Jones in an armbar, almost. Terrible. But again, I hear these play-by-play guys on UFC saying Vitor's a black belt and Vitor's this and that, and it's like, man, the last time I seen Vitor on his back, he looked like he couldn't even he couldn't even stop the guy from passing his guard. So I think it's definitely going to be, Vitor's going to have to...
I'm scared for Vitor.
I kind of am too. I love old Vitor. I
want to see him go.
Second only to Christ, old Vitor.
Yeah. I want to see him fight a striker. That Hendo fight was great because you knew that he was going to throw down, and he knocked him out and lifted him up. Let's see him fight some of the strikers, and let's see, let him go out like a champion.
Mousasi's been ready for this fight a long time. He's been calling out Vitor for quite some time.
Mousasi should have had a title shot by now, but
I think again this is going to be a great stepping stone for Mousasi. Vitor is kind of on the decline. I think what he's going to come in there. Definitely. But again, if he can come in there, ready to go, to the later rounds. I think, Vitor obviously stands a chance, and I'm rooting for Vitor, just like we're always rooting for Vitor.
Yeah, baby.
But Mousasi is tough.
It's going to be an up.
My heart is with Vitor, but if I had to put money, I'd have to say Mousasi.
My noggin is with Mousasi, totally. I'm with you. Is it main event time?
It is the main event of UFC 204.
For gold.
We have the champ. The
middleweight champion of the world.
Michael Bisping?
The Count.
The Count.
I'm not talking about counting cars either.
Not talking about Sesame Street.
No custom rides, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about Michael Bisping, UFC World Champion. Woo!
Coming off of a wonderful performance against Rockhold, who obviously overlooked him, and went night-night. So
less talk and a lot more action.
And that was an action-packed fight. I just watched it the other day on demand.
All Rockhold does is run his mouth, and he doesn't even do that well. I've never seen a guy more full of himself. Anyway, on to the champ. He looked great. He's gotten older, but I think he's just gotten better.
Oh, ever since he got knocked out by one Dan Henderson, I think that kind of woke him up. I think, again, he's always been a great strategic fighter, always gone in there with solid game plans.
He's a smart guy.
But I'll tell you what, ever since he kind of got a renewed sense of confidence, I think he's gone in there, after defeating Anderson Silva.
Unbelievable.
So...
He changed his training for that, and it's paid dividends. He's confident now. He went to a sports psychologist, and it's made all the difference for him. Again, it's mental. When in his biggest fights he gets in there, he doesn't believe in himself, he's not going to win. He stepped in there thinking he was going to beat Anderson Silva, and he did. And he knew he could beat Luke Rockhold, and he did. So, you know what? Hendo, well, the guy's got the one-punch knockout, but...
At this point in his career, I don't know that he has much else. But again, he's proved that he still has lots of heart. He's going to go in there and give all that he's got. He's not, he doesn't, we've seen him rocked plenty of times. He has a suspect chin.
Every fight he gets floored.
He's more suspect than I think, fucking Kaiser Soza or whatever his name is. Usual Suspects.
Oh, nice one.
Okay, I don't know. But again, I mean, I'm wearing
H-bomb.
my Dan Henderson shirt. My Dan Henderson shirt.
I hope it happens.
Wearing my Dan Henderson shirt. But again, I mean, right? If
it would be a nice way to go. Let's see, he's a legend, but he's on the decline. He's as bad as as he's been, and well, Michael is as good as he's ever been. So, and it's retribution. He wants a win bad against the guy that made him look real bad.
Yeah,
it's a famous knockout and the thunderous bomb at the end. That was, I mean, after the Ultimate Fighter. I love that coach versus coach. I got some satisfaction.
That was that one. Finally, I got
what I wanted. First time I rooted for Michael was against Luke, and you know what? I kind of like him for that. He speaks well. He does, whatever. But he's the villain. He always will be.
It's going to be a tough fight for Dan Henderson to win with a suspect chin, and then I don't, if it goes, how much does he have in the gas tank? But you know what? You never say never. I think it's going to take the best Dan Henderson, and I think it's going to take an obvious mistake by Bisping, who isn't known for making too many mistakes.
No, he's a smart fighter.
And that was, I think, back in
safe
2012. I think
unfortunately he fights safe, and when he has gotten a little gone for it, he's gotten knocked out. So
Vita Balfour.
I want to say it's Bisping's fight.
I'm wearing my Henderson shirt, so again, it's my pocketbook is going to be on Bisping, but my heart will be with Dan Henderson.
I agree completely. Again, so should be fun, folks.
There you have it, UFC 204. Thanks for tuning in. We're back.